What's going on, guys? Shoky here. Long time no see. And as my computer currently uploads the newest, well, technically the first new review I've done pretty much all this year in 2023, something came up in my Facebook memory feed. And it is, in fact, the very first review I ever did before Shoky Reviews was even a thing. So I was doing GUNPLA building. I was even doing some live stream building on Facebook at that point, I think. And I was involved in GUNPLA groups and stuff like that. You know, decently connected to either the Texas Gundam Club or the Houston Gundam Club, depending on what year that was and when things sort of coagulated. So it was at that point that I decided that I had opinions that I wanted to be able to express about things, and because I was obsessed with Gundam 00 and very much obsessed with the Aker suits specifically, I actually filmed this, what was a 3-part thing, because my camera could only hold so much data back then. And this was filmed on an old camcorder, like a digital camcorder, and yeah. And unfortunately, I don't have the original footage anymore, or it's buried somewhere in my old computer, which is marginally unaccessible. So basically, I downloaded the standard definition footage, which I don't even think the original footage was remotely in HD. So what will follow here is an uncut version of the first 3-part review I ever technically did. And this was what led me to basically start this channel pretty much 7 years ago, 8 years ago. What year is it now? That. Whatever the number is that I put up here on the screen, that is the correct number of things that I've done. So, and because the funny thing is that it was this day, all those years ago, and then essentially a month later. So the first upload on the channel was in August of 2016, I believe. Yep. So that makes sense. 16. Yes. So that would be that, once again, that many years. It's early morning on a Saturday. What do you expect? I didn't even have a beard back then. I couldn't. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Couldn't even have a beard back then. I didn't have this awesomeness. So either way, here is the very embarrassing first run of me filming a review. So check it out.
Hey guys, so today I thought I'd do a comparison of the different Aker suits from 00. It's one of my favorite characters, and it's got some really interesting evolutions over time. Starting out with this guy, this is actually the Overflag, which is a weird little transforming mobile suit, because United States had to have some type of jet flying thing. So, you know, this one's all black and white because it had to look sleek and awesome. But it's fairly simple, and as a kit, it's actually pretty interesting and intricate for an HG kit. Except the thing that I hate the most is pretty much like the ball joints, which is going to be kind of a theme through these different suits. And as you can see, when we come in closer, you can see I painted on a few details, like the gold nipples there. The one thing I do hate is this stupid saber. There's a beam saber, a vibro blade, I don't know what it is. I don't like it. It's stupid. It came in no color, and I added a couple little hints of color to it. And then a problem with this one in particular the gun just goes floppy. Now in transform mode, that's the tip of the jet, you know, so he can shoot as he flies around. I'm not going to transform it because I really don't like transforming it. Whenever I put it back on the display, it'll probably be transformed. But so this is where we're starting, but the I don't have the next suit that he had, which was the Mr. Bushido's ahead. So, and I don't also have, because I don't think the kit exists, was the GN flag, which is what he used in the final battle in first season of 00. So we'll push this guy aside over here, and we'll move on. Oop, bump the camera to his next mobile suit as Mr. Bushido. Oh, look at that beauty! Look at that samurai beauty there. So this would be the Maserao, if I'm saying that right. And this thing is beautiful with its red and its black, white, gray accents. And it's just very full of Bushido-ness. But this was later on in Season 2. He had this one built for him because he wanted to be able to keep up with the 00 Gundam. So, in fact, this thing, while it doesn't have a twin drive system, actually has 2 GN drives to make it faster. And this is where I'll show this off. This is why I don't like this kit. See, I put no effort into that. These ball joint hips. Kind of cram it back on there. So, I mean, if it was a normal ball joint and a nice little socket, it'd be great. But it's a polycap ball joint socket. But anyways, so if we get into just the actual suit itself, it's pretty cool. I do love these swords, and they're actually, each one is a little bit different. If you come in a little closer, check out the little details there. And they are supposed to be GN beam sabers. And because Graham can't get over things, he named them Howard and Daryl after his fellow flag pilots who died in the first season because they thought they could beat the Gundams. So, and then I told you they're a little bit different. So, one is shorter than the other, I guess because Howard was probably the shorter of the two. I don't know. They don't actually explain that. So, I mean, this kit is really neat. I like it. The big rabbit ears. And these are adjustable. I do like these. See if you can play with them a little bit. Here, let me tilt up. Because this guy is much bigger. Now, this is one thing that I did want to touch on. Because it comes up again later on. So just a quick comparison here. This was his first suit on this side. So the flag, look at this size difference. Man, I can't really zoom out that much. But, I mean, yeah, they're on a different type of stand. But the legs on the suit, on the Maserao are so much bigger, bulkier. The head is enormous. Considering that this is realistically just based on the GN flag. You know, just looking it up. And it does not transform. As cool as it is, just slide this guy out of the way. It doesn't transform, but it does have these cool boosters on the sides. I do really dig these shoulders. Because I actually have some GN thrusters kind of here and here. So it's fairly maneuverable. And he means business because he's got these nice little spikies on the hands. Of course, this sword doesn't fit too well in these particular hands, but it is what it is. And he's got his cool visor because masked pilot in a Gundam series. It's got a visor kind of thing. Now, this one, and I found this out later on, it does actually open up here in the torso to reveal whatever the hell that is. So, maybe that's supposed to be the... I don't know. I don't know what purpose it serves. Oops, I just zoomed in too far. You got a really good close look at that. So, that's pretty neat. It just folds out, does that. And actually, if you pop off the visor, because at one of the end scenes when it's getting its ass kicked, the visor breaks off and clearly shows inside that it is a flag. See, I don't know if I can really get any light in there. You see the little mono eye and the visor, which did have to paint on this particular kit. The visor It's supposed to be like a goldish color, and I painted the eye red metallic, even though you can't really see in there. Now, let's see if I can get this visor back in here, put his sunglasses back on. That's one thing they kind of remind me of, is the Gurren Lagann sunglasses. Oh, I'll show off the back. See, look, that friggin' leg just fell off again. All I did was bump it. It's a bad design there. I mean, I like the way they did it. And actually, this is, I'll show this off real quick because we're talking about the joints and how dumb they are. This is how they did the arm joint. So you do have your upper arm swivel. Oh, see, look, that didn't even do it. That's a polycap. So the upper arm swivel, instead of being combined, you know, to pieces together and just letting them swivel, it's literally just a ball joint made to be a swivel. Now I didn't want to show off the back because it's just got a, you know, whatever. On the upcoming kit, this is different. I'll show that. And I like this here. So he's got his ribbon coming out of the back of his head, I guess is what it is. But it does serve something of a purpose, because if you can see here on the shoulder, because I guess that's supposed to be the GN drives or something, they didn't really explain that too well. They can plug in over here, and it would give this particular sword, let me zoom back out, this sword would become big and enormous, energy-filled GN saber, as he used in the show. But they didn't give you that ability. They just give you the ability to plug in the whip, so to speak. But for the most part, I like it. The feet are really interesting. So the bottom here is just a polycap on a swivel. It goes a couple different ways. Hold on. It actually has a locking point here, so the feet can stay flat, and also whenever it's standing. So up here, way up in there, it's a ball joint, so you can get lots of movement there. And then, of course, you pivot it. Now this is both a pivot joint that way and this way, so it actually ends up being almost a universal joint in the feet. And I like that design. It's a really strange foot for, say, like your normal Gundam feet, big square red shoes. You know, this is very different, definitely non-Gundam, and in some ways very reminiscent to the feet on the flag over here, which I can't show you, but see, they kept a similar design to these feet. So this is still two-part foot, and it doesn't move up here, but it swivels up here in a similar fashion, so it can spin, and it's got a pivot joint, which you can't even see because I'm doing it off camera. So I'll put the flag over here. Now, Masaral was pretty cool. I like that kit, but as usual, the antagonists tend to get his butt kicked, as he does. So later on in the series, for whatever reason, he comes back and he's got this guy, the nice upgraded Susanoo, however you want to say it, and literally filled with just more. So the ears, far more spiky. The arms gain or at least this arm gains this little bit here, a little extra armor with a big spike, a big wrist guard. Now, an interesting part, this kit came first. If you're actually looking at the kit numbers, this one was designed first, and then Masaral came out. So I was confused for a minute. I was like, that's not how those mobile suits came. So when the Masaral came out, it was after, but obviously a very similarly molded kit. This arm guard here, forearm guard, armor, whatever you want to call it, came with the Masaral. So I just said screw it and put it on here and made it match, and painted on this arm guard and then the little spiky here. Now, as you can tell, it still retains most of the same design. Still has the visor, still got these cool shoulders, still has spiky hands. Now, I did a lot more paint work on this one, so pull it in closer. You can see, you know, I painted the spikes. I also painted the hands, so these are actually a really dark gray color. And you can see he changed from, just for whatever reason, he changed from his GN sabers to twin swords, normal swords. Now, I assume these two are also named Howard and Daryl, and they do, in fact, come in different lengths, because samurai. Now, the only thing I can find on this kit that is actually, like, really, really the same, there's only a few pieces. The legs are absolutely identical with the exception of the color. So they go together exactly the same, they look exactly the same, they pivot exactly the same. The only change was I painted this, and then the crotch piece is the same. If I remember, this piece is mostly the same. The actual hip joints are almost all the same. The arms are the same up until the forearms. Let's see, look, this hip is about to pop off, just as it always does. Now, a huge difference is everything back here. So now you've got this GN thruster back here on the back. This may actually be a full GN drive. I couldn't find reference to it on Gundam Wiki. But these guys now have their own wing pods, can move about freely, and they can turn, they can do good stuff. Not to mention they're a really lovely two-tone black and white. And then something else, because we gotta have some kind of transformation gimmick, these guys actually split open. They have a little dealie here. I couldn't remember exactly. So more or less they rock open and become blasters or pinchers or something. I don't know. Designs of Gundams are cool. And then it also has the same two GN drive systems over here. Of course, not real GN drives, GN Tau drives, because fake. And then a few other differences. Now, this looks very much the same. Now, one design that is different. Let me open this guy. You pull that down. Gotta rock the whole body. A little bit. You gotta fiddle with it a little bit. The other one opens a little bit easier. But when you open it up, it's not just a blank whatever. It's actually a cannon. And he tries to shoot directly from his chest. Like you do. Oh, but it goes farther than that, because he really hates the Gundams. Their shoulders swivel out, and also are cannons. That's just badass. That's just... So whenever he came back with this thing, he meant business. Like, he was really meant to kill some Gundams. He hated Setsuna so much, or loved him, whatever. Now, one thing I do love about this is an HG kit. The shoulder / chest movement is kind of ridiculous. Look at that. Now look, these also move semi-independently. Of course, that one just wanted to pop off just now, because it's a bad mobile suit. Bad mobile suit. Of course, now I'm going to have to fix that, but I don't know. Tuck the shoulder back in there, screw it, just let it be. It's not falling off, leave it be. But I do really like this kit, and of course it's younger brother, younger self, realistically. Oh, that was one big difference I forgot to mention. Alright, so this one has its own wing pods for the thrusters. This one, they're mounted directly on the upper legs. So that is one slight difference between the two. Now this one does come with the parts to sort of make this one, but without all of this. It comes with the normal leg joints and stuff like that. The hands, it actually does come with different hands for this guy, I think. Just one or two different ones because he has to hold the swords. So he comes with a couple different hands. This one comes with limited choices on the hands. So these are his two kits from the second season. Not counting the ahead, because that doesn't count. That didn't have really a whole lot of gram flair. That was just an ahead, which is a hideous kit, a hideous mobile suit. I hate that thing. I wish I could get the GN flag. If they ever make that kit, I'm going to get it, because I love Graham's stuff. There's my thumb. So, setting these guys aside, we'll see what they evolved into. And this is one of the most interesting things that I thought of. Given the size that these are, this is what is weird. So you move that over there. Then you move on to this. The Brave. Now, if you saw the 00 movie, which a lot of people did, but they didn't like it, this is what they came in to save the day with. The Soul Braves, as they were known, or the Flag Squadron, whatever you want to call it. It is clearly not just an evolution of Susanoo and Masao. This thing is it's a flag. Let's just be totally honest. This one goes back to the transforming gimmick. Totally, turns into a badass flyer mode. Oop, sword's actually hitting the background there. It's ridiculous. It really is. Now see, this one comes. He even kept his little wire bandana. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's still there. As far as I know, this particular kit has nowhere else for it to plug into. Now, this one, oddly enough, was the first one I bought. So I did this one before I did any of the other three. But you see the head, very similar to a Brave. The shoulders, however, take a whole lot of design aspects from Susanoo and Masao. Same thing with the chest. All of this is straight up just taken from the Masao and everyone. Now, on this particular kit, I did some custom work. This beam saber, if anybody knows, HG beam sabers do not tend to have a blade. This is a spare blade I had left over. I carved this thing out and I made it fit, and I just think it looks badass. Now, coming around once again, I'm not going to transform this thing. Now you can see this crotch, kind of an in-between, between the flag and the Masao. Same thing, he kept some of the similar designs here to the shoulders, just because these don't really seem to serve a purpose. And you're in outer space. Wings have no effect. The legs really kept a lot of the design. Simplified it, mind you, but very, very similar design. So this ankle part here, I guess if you want to call it like an ankle, this is all one big ankle joint. This is very similar to the flag. This is straight off the other two, and the way it, moves and all that. The leg armor itself, this is all very Masao. And even back here to the thrusters on the back of the legs that you can't see because it's a bad angle. These straight off Masao. Same thing up here. Now these thrusters, once again, two GN drive thrusters here. And I found out, just by reading, these on his are made this way. So these are twin GN drives. Not a twin drive system like the 00, just two GN drives because he's a badass. On the normal types, they only have a single one back here. That's why this little booster thing, I don't know what the hell this is called, this is cut out for a GN drive that is not there. So Graham is just a badass who said, I want two GN drives to make my Brave better than everyone else's. Now, if you saw the movie, you saw exactly what these things could do. It's badass. It's super fast, has transam capability, or transgram, and the massive beam attacks it can use are ridiculous, because it can actually turn these into beam emitters and shoot. Not to mention it has this big, ridiculous blaster here that can split and open, just like all our GN weaponry. I love this thing, but it's so strange, at least kit-wise. It's so strange, because, once again, you get this massive size difference. So he went with the more compact frame, more or less, of the flag, but took all of the design aspects he really liked from this guy. To the twin thrusters off the side, the way the shoulders were designed, the chest is just a total ripoff, let's be honest. But the head, that's straight up flag, with, just new ears. I do like this better, and the cool thing is the flag and the Brave both come with a foil sticker and an orange visor, so you don't have to mess with that. Now hold on, give me a second. I'm going to bring in the original guy here so you can really see a difference. Now these two, you can tell, very similar to each other. You know, even in size and scale. So it's a very different setup from the middle two evolutions. So, I mean, even the gun is vaguely similar. Does the same type of thing. This guy actually comes with a whole other weapon, because this can be the overflag Graham's special one, or a normal overflag, which is a totally different front gun section, which is still in the box. So they're just very, very similar. So the same skinny arms, though this one is very different. This is more reminiscent, of course, of the Susanoo, and this is just, of course, flag. But I mean, you come back here and there's nothing similar between these two. Not that, I mean, they transform in a similar manner, except for on the flag, which I think is so funny. I mean, you get used to Transformers where they want to hide robot mode. The flag clearly has its head more or less sticking up, and the hands go out front. They're just like that. This guy hides the hands towards the back. And like I said, I'm not going to go through the process of transforming these guys. That'd be a pain in my ass. This one I leave transformed like this just because it looks it's sleek and it's sexy. The previous two, obviously they don't transform, so they're going to stay and they're just wear badass modes. So set these guys aside. See if I can get a wide enough shot to get all four of them in here. Oh, get in there, Brave. So, yeah. So that's Graham's suits. I mean, it's funny because you look at the first two, or you look at the middle two, they look like brothers. They're like, if this was Super Sentai, this would be like the main ranger, this would be the other one. Or if it was something like Kamen Rider, this would be the main rider, this would be the secondary rider, just a little bit more badass. But it's just interesting that, I guess in the show, it was about a 2.5 years difference from this guy to this guy. And then it was another couple years to this guy. So, I mean, I think they're awesome. Just let me know what you think. Get a little bit close up. Oh, you can see behind the scenes there a little bit. And then I love the fact that this one went from GN swords to hard swords, because I guess he realized those weren't going to help him much, so he switched to this. So this was supposed to be his ultimate kicking 00's ass. And then this is saving 00's ass. Because in the scene, not to spoil anything, that's where 00 needed help. So the Soul Braves came to help against the ELF. Is that what they are? ELF? I don't remember what they're called. No, ELS. The L's. The evil aliens from wherever they're from. But, alright. So, I'll zoom back out for final thoughts. I like these guys. They're going to make a good home in my 00 collection. I just thought it was really interesting to see how they evolved. And you get to the final product with the Brave, and you can see kind of all of the previous ones in it. I just think that's awesome. I guess it's very similar to the rest of the 00 kits, which I can review later if people actually like this. Oh, and here's this stupid saber. So he got smart after this one. So like I painted the handle. I still hate this. This is stupid. It's a plastic toothpick. That's all this is. This is stupid. You can't even store it. You know, these, I didn't even show it. With the swords on this guy and on this guy, the swords will actually store in by their thrusters. You can actually see it right there. So, this thing, it's garbage. I hate it. You know, I keep it only because it's part of the kit. Let's see if I can focus on it. There we go. Focus on it. I did it almost like a lightsaber. I like it. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully I can do more of these reviews and get a little bit better of a setup. So, y'all have a good day, and let me know what you think. Bye.